Well, good morning and welcome to the Talisman Hotel here for a hot rod breakfast and beautiful Katikati. Woohoo!
Hi, Colin Fitch here. I own the 46 Chev pickup. Got it in 2001, spent 9 years building it before I got it on the road.
Wow.
As normal, just got to have all the professional guys to do all the panel beating and engineering and that. Yeah, it's just a little 454 crate.
A little
motor.
454.
Yeah, all the bottom end and pistons are all stock from crate. But since then I've put the alloyed heads on it and the supercharger and electronic fuel injection.
Yeah.
So that's all just new, yeah.
So what's the response like?
Very good.
Very good? Yeah, like you would say almost instant.
Yeah, it's made a big difference between the carburetor and supercharger, yes.
Yeah, that's lovely. And like, now who did all the hydraulic front for you? Because that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It took a bit of working out to get the. I worked out where the front pivot point was, so that took a bit. But I had a.
So are you brain surgeon by trade?
Just about.
Just about?
Yeah.
Well, what do you do?
I actually do aluminium cladding for
there you go.
Industrial buildings.
Oh, wow. So you know how to draw a straight line and to find a point in the middle?
Yes, definitely, yes, yeah.
So how far afield have you been in your pickup?
I've been right down to Christchurch muscle car madness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And muscle car craziness or not muscle car madness?
Yeah, totally madness. Yeah.
You've had a lot of happy miles in it.
Yes, definitely. It cruises around. I go to Auckland all the time, see Auckland and over to Hamilton. And,
What sort of mileage do you get? Do you have an idea of the consumption?
Yes, I was doing an economical 9 miles to the gallon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that US gallons or imperial?
Yeah. So with the supercharger and fuel injection, so I'm about 19 now.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow. 19.
Yeah.
Really?
19 miles. Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's comparable, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a lot of good smaller cars.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess in other words, you can say, like, if you want to do the planet a favour, get a bigger engine and supercharge it with electronic fuel injection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's go and run everyone off the road that doesn't have one. Will you join me? I'll come with you and film it. Okay, Colin. Hey, thank you very much for your truck, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo!
So my name's Chris. We own the 1930 Model A coupe.
You and Lynn own the Model A coupe.
Well, yeah, you can probably tell by the number plate.
Yeah.
Our 38.
So
that was the compromise, I guess. So we've always been interested in hot rodding, and going back about 12 years or so, we decided that we wanted to build a fenderless car. And so a good friend of mine that runs Max Speed, Graham McNeil, and we talked about what we could do, and the Model A shape always appealed. So from that point of view, we looked around, and down at Rocket, we managed to get a body from the States. I think from memory it came out of Arizona, and really good nick. I think it's got one little patch panel in one of the doors. Other than that, it was all original.
Wow.
Come out of the desert, so no rust. And we always wanted it chopped, so it's a 3-inch chop.
3-inch.
Yeah.
It's the same front and back.
Yeah, it is. Where some people tend to be a little bit different. So
and you scratch your head.
Yeah, we went for a 3-inch chop, and I think that's the right. It sits on the road nice. I mean, in terms of the rest of the car, it's virtually a new car. So it's 32 rails.
I've got a friend down in Taranaki. He's got an old Bedford pickup. He gave it an 11.5-inch chop. Those are numbers you don't comprehend when you're talking your chop.
So that's all right. So Graham said, well, we'll build this. We'll build up 32 rails, and it's carrying 9-inch, and we got a small block Chevy in it, which we didn't know what it was at the time. We thought it was a 350. Pulled it down, and really decent internals, and it's a stroker, so it's a 383. And so we've got some decent heads on it, AFR heads, which make it breathe really
It'll
nice.
be pretty responsive too.
Well, that's the challenge. We've had it down the strip. Drag racing, I used to do that many years ago.
Did you? What did you campaign then?
So back in the drag racing days, it was a pro stock car. Vauxhall Victor. So, which we had on the street as well. But that's going back now into the late 70s, so it's a long time ago.
Oh, that's not that far back.
Yeah.
Come on.
Feels sometimes a long way back. But
that's just the other day to when you get old.
You're right. So we've got a turbo 350, which I know Graham, when he built the car, he's a real manual person, so there's enough room for another pedal. But I figured I spend enough time driving the car because it takes a bit to drive it. It tends to bump over, being so light, and it's a lot of fun to drive. So. Yeah, we've been all over the place here. We've went to the pre-49s a few years ago down to Masterton, and in fact I just went up last weekend up to the Coromandel to Trouble Bound's 10th anniversary.
What was that like?
Yeah, it's pretty...
You would have enjoyed that?
Yeah.
Being in a mix of a bunch of young folk.
It reminded me of 30 years ago, or 40 years ago. So, anyway, we survived that weekend.
Yeah, but that was hot rodding as we knew it.
Yeah.
It's
They've got some really cool guys and ladies too.
Yeah.
And there's some great cars. So I just drove up there because I thought it was a great drive for the coupe.
It's a day cruise, isn't it?
Yeah, went up there, stayed the weekend, and it's really good to see a whole lot of young guys getting right into the sport. Yeah. Which is what we need to have.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the challenge that we've got, I think, as a sport. That it's all great.
There's a lot of pepper and salt hair colouring, but it needs to be more pepper and less salt.
Look, I totally agree. But I said to a lot of the younger guys, and our son's now got himself a car, I said, you don't need to go and spend big money on your first car, right?
Yeah.
We certainly didn't. When we first bought our first car, it wasn't a lot of money. So hopefully people take heed of that and the young guys get involved. But Trouble Bound was a great weekend, so we just get out, cruise in the car. And it was all built by Graham at Max Speed. I use local people around.
Some beautiful cars have come out of there. I mean, some absolutely stunners. Yeah,
they have.
It's his attention to detail, isn't it? He goes that little bit further.
Well, I think the challenge with that is because I'm not a fabricator. It's trying to impart your image of what you want to see the car finished as.
It's his interpretation,
the fabricator, right? And so that was our challenge, and we did make a few changes along the way, but the paint colour is actually a Ford colour. Okay. It's a slight variation of the Ford Breeze, which I think the XR6 Falcons came out in the mid-2000s. And I always when I saw that colour on a Falcon, I said, if I ever build a car, that's a cool colour. I had a local guy in Howick paint it, Bob, and he did a great job, and I said to him at the time, let's not spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a paint because it's going to get chipped, which it is with a fenderless car. But it's coming up 8 years old, so it's stood the test of time. And
it's a beautiful car.
Thanks. Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. The white walls were something that we saw in another car again, and then someone said to me, that colour paint will go with the white walls, and I think it does. But look, everyone's open to their own interpretation, Doug, aren't they?
But colours work together,
Yeah. So we're now that we're living in the Bay of Plenty, we sort of plan to get out and do a few more runs and get out and see a few more different cars. I mean, that's always the exciting thing when you come to a different area. You'll always get to see more
new cars
you've never seen before, which is pretty cool. And so we're looking forward to doing that over the summer.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Is that enough to talk about?
Yeah. So, hey, Lynn, wave, Lynn. Lynn gave Chris permission to talk on camera.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, Bob. Take a
Well, seeing as how we're in Katikati, or going through Katikati, you just got to stop in at Henry's Rod Shop. Let's go and have a look and see what's going on. Come on.
These guys here that make them like international, these guys are not second. When you can put the bit of finance out, you don't know how to do the right word. You've got a bit tiny, I think. This is obviously the start here anyway. What's called mailbox on the chassis. Yeah. And he drove around here and he couldn't break that. Yeah. You know, so his one thing is to actually be able to drive that down the road. Yeah, drive well. This is another one that just about finished. Wow. This was a show truck, it still is, but went to get it certed, VIN, etc., and unfortunately the chassis was not worthy, put it that way. So, and it was right in the time where we couldn't get stuff out of America, so we sat down, worked out a deal, and went through things, and we built a lot. We did the chassis here with a brand new guy. He started in Dancing Right, the first job's chassis on this. Unbelievable. Nailed it. Unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah, it's just progress, I suppose.
Spicy Boys. Available online at spicyboys.nz.